It is a ticking time bomb. India is witnessing the fastest ultra-processed food sales growth in the world according to newspaper published in the Lancet. The result is surging obesity and diabetes leading to very bad health. The paper by 43 global authors showed that the retail sales of UPF in India, which is ultra-processed food, surged from 0.9 billion in 2006 to 38 billion in 2019, a 40-fold rise. Ultra-processed foods are food products mostly high in fat, sugar or salt. They usually contain over more than ingredients you wouldn't find at your home in your kitchen cupboard. UPFs are full of unwanted and harmful ingredients and cosmetic additives like stabilizers, emulsifiers, colorants, flavorings, substances, etc. All of them are there. So what are the examples of the UPF that we consume in our everyday life without understanding their effect on our body? Retail shop shelves are now dominated by pre-packaged food and beverage products. They include sausages, crisps, pastries, biscuits, coffee, soups, fizzy drink, ice creams, supermarket bread. The Lancet study says UPFs are strongly linked to an increased risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, depression, premature death, amongst others. Thanks to the hyperactive consumption of ultra-processed foods, obesity has doubled in India in both men from 12% to 23% and women from 15% to 24%. 1 in 4 person in India is obese and 10% of Indians are diabetics. On this issue, I am joined by Dr. Sunila Garg, Professor Emeritus, National Medical Sciences Academy, Government of India, Member Lancet Commission, Advisor ICMR, and Dr. Swati Maheshwari, Director Fortis Hospital, Manesar. Thank you both of you. Let me straight away go to Dr. Sunila Garg. Madam, can this turn into a national epidemic if people don't realize as to what they are consuming when they buy something off the shelf, which is easy eating, very tasty and quick?
Thank you, Kartikeya. Actually, I have been involved in this area since almost 3 years, let me tell you that. And I'm very happy that this topic has been raised by your channel, because you see, when we talk of out of 204 countries, India has got 12.5 million obese children, and which will be 27 million by 2030, and 50% childhood obesity will be there in Southeast Asia, which will be 10% of the global obesity. And then, when we talk of that, so and we do have, India is a diabetic capital of the world. We do have 828 million people, in the world with diabetes, out of which 212 are in, people are obese. And then 135 million, when we talk of, 359 million rather people have got abdominal obesity, and we had recently a study which was conducted in Delhi University, where we found that 25%, 1/4 of our young adults were obese. They had high waist circumference and all that. So what we realized over a period of time was that what are the important causes? One is, the sedentary lifestyle, which is responsible for this, and which particularly aggravated during COVID times, and which is leading to all these, as I said, more abdominal girth, central obesity and all that. But most important reason, which you rightly mentioned, the important culprits are our ultra-processed foods, which are available over the counter, and they contain the ingredients like sugar, salt, sodium, and different stabilizers, emulsifiers and all that. And so they are the ones who are providing you immediate calories, but ultimately they are the ones which are very, very dangerous for the body, and they lead to all these which I mentioned, whether we call it as obesity, whether we call it as ultimately obesity is the root cause of all these, when we talk of diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases. And once a person is obese, so his physical capacity goes down, it has effect on his mental processes, he goes into depression and all that. Sometimes, people also are not able to perform well in their studies or in their occupation and all that. So it's a kind of a vicious cycle. So I say that ultra-processed foods, basically are highly, highly dangerous foods, and they must be condemned and rather removed. And this has already been taken a dialogue with FSSAI also. So I feel that, there is already nutrition policies there, and we need to take a, look at this direction very, very seriously. Are we really, able to justify that on our counters ultra processed foods are available.
Okay.
Thank you.
Dr. Swati Maheshwari, do you think that we need to have some sort of a warning on these ultra processed foods? You know, for example, when we had the warnings on cigarette and then the photo came, then the people realized this is the consequence. You know, this is what happens to you. This is cancer. Alcohol. You know, people thought 2 pack theek hai, but now studies tell you, boss, you will be in big trouble if you know, even if you have a moderate consumption. Do you think that some warning is required? These chicken nuggets, chips, and all that, you know, and people pander to the whims of the children?
Absolutely, there are a lot of regulatory gaps for that matter. Be it front of pack labeling, be it the marketing that is being done to the children, the kind of food that is served in the schools for that matter, the colleges who are vending all this ultra processed food in their campuses and all and everything. Then again, a lot of government regulatory bodies have to be stepping over here because see, there are a lot of policies which are deficient as of now. As such, all these products, they have a lot of celebrity endorsements. There's a lot of pervasive marketing that happens, and this kind of becomes very tempting for a child or any other adult for that matter because they feel that this is very easily available. As it is too palatable, very tasty, and when you start eating a lot of ultra processed food, it kind of tempts you for more and more, and that is what happens. It kind of takes you into a vicious cycle. So what actually these studies are showing is they are highlighting the point that the Indian nutrition is absolutely in a crisis mode right now, and also the public health system for that matter. And it is very concerning right now that all these things are so easily available that 1 in 4 is obese in India, 1 in 3 have abdominal obesity, 1 in 10 are suffering from diabetes. Now, this is something which should be really a wake-up call for us because we are sitting on a verge of a tsunami of metabolic disorders, which is, about to hit us in a big way. And also, when you look at these market trends that are there, the market surveys that are done in last 1 decade, like you rightly mentioned, there is an increase of 4,000%. Now, this is something which is very, very huge, and it shows that how our gut microbiome is getting affected, the metabolic and the signal pathways are getting affected by all these different kind of stuffs and chemicals actually that we are consuming. And more than that, the progenies, the kind of productivity and everything is going to get affected from here. So this is something which is very, very concerning. A lot of I think right now brainstorming is required, and especially the government has to be very strict on what kind of stuff is being put on our shelves, because people have to understand the food which says that the half-life is too long or it was going to stay better, or it has a half-life of say 1 year or 2 years, it is going to sit on the shelf. It means that this food is more dangerous for you, rather than going and picking these kind of stuffs which say, okay, 6 months this is very good, or 8 months it's going to last. Don't pick up such stuffs from the shelf because they are more dangerous, because they have more of these stabilizers in them, they have more of additives in them, and these are purely chemicals that are going into your system. They are affecting your health. And now the diseases which we used to see in elderlies and in middle-aged people, we are very easily seeing those in children now, in adolescents now, and that is very, very concerning. That our Indian landscape, the entire nutrition food ecosystem of India, it is not just about individual choices anymore.
There are two quick questions, for both of you, because I need to close the show, and I'll start with Dr. Garg. One, this issue of constant eating, there's no conversation around that. Constant eating is not normal. 100, 200, 300 years ago, our ancestors were not eating through the day. The kitchen would close, or the food would not have been available. And the second thing is, not understanding what you eat is not food. It is creating addiction. Dr. Garg, and the same question to Dr. Swati Maheshwari.
Thank you so much. First of all, there is a huge change, Kartikeya, in our lifestyle. Earlier, there used to be a schedule, getting up in morning, getting dressed up, going out, doing your work, or, go to school, come back, you have a play time, you have a work time and all that. But now it's only, what we call it as a couch potato syndrome. Children just sit in front of, or even adults also. You see, we are also setting an example. It's not that it's only children, unless the parents permit, or there are families, which are permitting. So this is where what we call it as a couch potato syndrome. They'll sit with a packet of chips. They will sit with, something biscuits and all that, and ultra processed food with different kind of drinks and all that, and without doing any activity. So that is something, it's a vicious circle, as I said. And today I can say that basically when my husband sees in his clinic, he's a pediatrician, he says that 1 in 3 child is already an obese child. The moment they start gaining, parents do worry for them, but then it strikes them very late. So that is one thing which is very, very important. And as you said that we do need to, and Swati also mentioned about front of package labeling. This is the need of the hour, which should be available in local language and also acceptable to all and accessible to all.
Yeah, absolutely. When I'm a 75 born, I studied in Delhi, 1 or 2 people in a class would be fat, and people would tell us that they have some medical issues. But I did not come across fat children in early 80s, and I saw that change in 15 years, and I saw that the girth has increased, and I recall, and one thing which stayed with me was the meals which I had were limited, and I would not get it throughout the day. Dr. Swati, is that making a difference? That everything is available to you throughout the day. You can buy it, you can eat it, and you can just continue eating.
Absolutely, and very rightly you mentioned it's become a food addiction now, because everything is available at snap of fingers and you can easily procure anything anytime. Even if you're hungry at 2 or 3 in the night, you can just go on your app and get your food delivered in just 5-10 minutes. So, you don't have to wait until morning for your kitchen to open as well.
Yes.
Now, the whole shift now is, I think, not just about less food and more exercise. I think it is more important to tell children now that say no to ultra processed food. That is something which is very, very essential now, that we have to start, giving these messages out in schools, in colleges. I think the way we send these medical health messages in the community, that is something that we really need to work on right now, because it's still better to go and have some chapati or, have some rice or have some other traditional food item rather than going for these chips packets, instant noodles, instant soups, all these bakery products, biscuits and all and everything. They are so much more harmful. We are more worried, we'll eat a roti, our calories will go skyrocketing, or we'll have rice, our calories will be haywire completely. No. It's actually these ultra processed foods which have refined carbohydrates, which have these carbohydrates, which is actually causing all that obesity, which you think it is not causing, but actually it is the reason behind the obesity and the other metabolic disorders. And that is what is very, very essential now.
Absolutely.
For everyone to understand that this is the male culprit and the villain that is sitting right into your kitchens, into your house, into your apps. And into your mind.
Absolutely. Thank you both of you for joining me. This. I personally feel that there should be a national mission. Prime Minister has been speaking about obesity consistently, and he has been making a point that at least start by reducing oil in your food. So this is all I had on point today. I will see you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you and good night.
अपनी सुपर पावर यूज करने का टाइम आ गया है।
आप टेंशन मत लीजिए, IIFL फाइनेंस से झटपट गोल्ड लोन लीजिए और बिजनेस आगे बढ़ाइए।
लाइफ जब भी आगे बढ़ने का मौका दे, अपनी सुपर पावर, अपना गोल्ड यूज करिए और IIFL फाइनेंस से गोल्ड लोन लीजिए।
IIFL फाइनेंस करता है सीधी बात।
कुछ भी खा नहीं पा रहा हूँ, बहुत अपसेट हूँ।
Take a date, not bites.
नो एडेड शुगर, प्रिजर्वेटिव के बिना डेट्स, बादाम, पिस्ता, काजू और शहद से तैयार किया गया लायन डेट्स नट बाइट्स।
Lion date, not bites.
Light, camera, and action. Kick back, relax, grab your favorite snack because News9 is here with your weekend dose of entertainment. It's time to take a deeper dive into the buzzworthy happenings of the entertainment world. From celebrity gossips to exclusive conversations, from nostalgic moments to News9's pick of the week, don't worry, we've got you covered here. And I hope you've grabbed your popcorn by now because News9's page 3 is here to serve you everything that we call entertainment. So do stay tuned every Saturday and Sunday, 2:30 p.m.
What is to the nines? In literal terms, it's perfection.